Robot. Hang on, we've got to do that. All right. Do you have any advice? Restricted mobility playing the C chord. Guys, do you mind if I address this right now? Right, the C chord. There's the body of the C chord. You can think of it in this way. I had a student who had arthritis, and I think about it from that perspective a lot. Is like, what can you do with what you've got? Yes, use what you've got. So the C chord is notoriously hard, like this. We've got this one here, yeah. 4 if you're just getting into the if you're just getting into the cowboy chords, then what you'll find is, yeah, that this is the trickiest one, I think, because of the angle of your fingers. Now, let me just show you some of the things that people do wrong, right? One of the courses I'm writing actually is something called clockwork chords, and clockwork chords was a system that I devised to enable smooth chord changes, smooth chord transitions, but also make sure that you had a good sound. Now, what I have to do really is I have to kind of preface this, and everybody, please, just this is kind of not in the book. It's in a future book, let's say. What we've got to do is when you put your fingers on the fret, yes, you want to make sure that you put it in the best spot. Now, the head note is the model. This is the model for what you need to think about, because the string starts on the head note. The head note is the 0 fret. That's the way I think of it. And this is the first fret wire here. The fret wires act like head notes. So every time you press a finger on a fret there like that, what's happening is you're shortening the length of the string. And remember, it goes from the bridge of the guitar to wherever you are fretting. So when you put it further up the neck, you're making the string shorter. That makes the pitch go up. Now, what you want to do is you want to make sure that it sounds good, yes? Because that builds your confidence. So, because we want to make sure that it sounds good, let me just pop this down just a wee bit more. All right, okay, let's put that over there. That's better for the guitar, right? You don't need to see my head. Right, so if I put my finger on any of these frets, there are 3 positions we can think of it, yeah? So there's 3 spots. We want to put it right behind the fret wire. And if you think from 0 to 10, yeah, about pressure. 0 being no pressure, no pressure on at all. 1, slight pressure. And through to 10, where you're squeezing it as hard as you can. So you can even hear when I squeeze that there. Yeah. Then what you get is you can hear the string pitch bending just a little bit. Now, so what we want is that spot there. Now, if you think about it, on a level of 0 to 10, that's about 3 out of 10 to press. Now, some of you guys are using electric guitars, some of you are using acoustic guitars. If you're using an acoustic guitar, it's harder, yeah? Look at this. On electric, it's a lot easier. Generally, because the action, the height of the strings from the frets is closer to the fret wire itself. So it's not as far to go. So if we press down there, we're good. Right, now look at the angle of my finger. Notice I'm not like this, yeah? So we've got that there. Now, this is actually a little bit of a preview of the Kickstarter because I talk about this in there. So we've got that 3 out of 10. Now, here's the thing. We can sometimes go into this middle part. This is called 5 out of 10. Now, there is a reason we do that. And it's because sometimes when we play certain chord grips, we can't always get the notes in the spot that we want them to. So, because of the fingers, the way the fingers go. Now, I learned this from one of my students who was dyslexic and dyspraxic. So if you think about that, yeah, that's like hard to control hands, but hard to understand the written instructions. So the thing is, it was really, really useful to understand this, that literal finger placement is really important. So that's the 5 out of 10 spot. That's how hard it is that you have to press. Now here, this is what I call the knot spot. And if you've ever seen that game show, What's a Knot Spot Knot? That's where the buzz happens. So if you've got buzz in your chords or in any of your notes that you're playing, just check. Are you in the 3 out of 10 spot, 5 out of 10 spot, or 8 out of 10 spot? It's really hard to press there, right? Now, the reason is because if you think about it, that fret wire is acting like a head nut, okay? Yeah, you can hear that there. Now, the reason you might want the 5 out of 10 spot is because of the way that we do chords. Now, I have a particular way of writing out chords, doing something that I call literal finger placement, and I'll show you what I mean. I will see with the help of technology, I can switch to a piece of paper, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw a chord box here. Right, so we have our chord box. Right, and I'm going to show you one of the trickiest chords for beginners. Yeah, but this is great news for anybody else who wants to think about how you play your chords, right? So let me just turn this sideways, just a bit easier, a bit quicker. Right, so we've got this here. When you get the chords in your books, what happens is you get this. The dots are in the 5 out of 10 spot. So look, this is going to be an A chord, yeah? That is an A chord. That's what the chord diagram looks like. But generally, what happens is they put fingers 1, 2, and 3 on there. Right, okay, I'm going to try this. I'm going to draw a hand, right? Right, it's going to be a cartoon hand. It's a bit like Bart Simpson's or something like that. And it's my hand because it's sausage fingers. Let's do a sausage fingers hand. Right, okay, hopefully this makes sense. That's a hand. That's that hand there. Yes, it's almost a replica. Okay, so we've got this one here. This is finger 1, finger 2, finger 3, and finger 4. And that's what's going on here. So 1, 2, 3. That's what the diagram looks like. The reality of the situation is, if I were to put my fingers on in that position there, I'm going to switch back to my camera. I'm going to show you what happens. Especially on electric, crook there. Look what happens there with my literal finger placement. Can you spot where those are? In that 3 out of 10, 5 out of 10, and 8 out of 10 positioning in the fret to get good sound out, yeah? What's going on there? That's the chord grip that we get in all the traditional books. Yeah? Does this make sense, guys? Look at that. We get this. It's this one, isn't it? Look at that. It looks like a small turkey. Oh, telephone can... Oh, it would be great to have a beer sometime, I tell you. Right? That's what she said. So we've got 3. So we've got this one here in the 3 out of 10 spot. This one's in the 5 out of 10 spot. And this one, look at that. That's in the perpetrator. Look at this. So this is the one. Okay? That's the one that makes it hard for everybody. You play the A chord. You go. Yeah, you managed to get one of those there. Okay? Now, yes, it does depend whether you have long or thin fingers, but still, we end up with this, right? So what happened was, I realised, and actually it was just from playing a song. I think it was a Beatles, a George Harrison, and it was this A major 7. This A major 7 showed me the way, because I thought, hang on, and I and I loved blues as well. Look at these two fingers. They're in the 3 out of 10 spot. Now, if I get that A major 7 there, okay, there, if I move it up, there, you can see that what happens is that is in the 5 out of 10 spot. These two are in the 3 out of 10 spot. Okay? Yes, Todd, you can play it with one finger. But the thing is, what if you're going to go... Look at this. Listen to this, guys. This is wonderful. Watch. First finger. Moves back. Get a lovely major 7 chord for Valentine's Day. And then, look. I get an A7 there. So it helps me to get into my 6ths as well. So what I can do, it's going to future-proof me for this stuff. This is why I play E minor like this instead of this. Yeah? It's just better because of the way that your fingers work. Let me explain how your fingers work. And it's all down to ligaments. On this hand here as well, what we do is, and Dr. Adams, you can help me with this as well, the ligaments here. So the way it works is our hands, look at that. If I pull my first finger down, it interferes with this one. I've talked about this before. So the long and short is that fingers 1 and 2 want to make a one finger group. They act like one finger. That's what I call a 2-finger group. Then fingers 2 and 3, they act like a 2-finger group, and fingers 3 and 4. These are natural pairings of your fingers. And it's to do with how your ligaments run down your hand. I'm going to draw on my fingers now. So essentially they run down here. I'm drawing on my hands. Yeah, to illustrate a point. They run down here, but there is one that goes across there. And that happens with all... Hang on, it's not a tattoo. Yeah. Does it on all of them here. And they're joined here. Right? And it's this here. That's the bit that stops you from getting your stretch. Look at that. So that's what happens. That width of stretch. There. You start to feel it there. Look, I've only got small hands, stumpy sausages. But that's what's going on there with that. But the 2-finger groups, the 2 fingers want to work together. Like this. Yeah. It's why I'll play a G like this. Look, fingers 3 and 4 there. But here, let me just get into this idea of the 3 out of 10 spot and the 5 out of 10 spot. When we play a D chord, and this is the way I think about it. So I want you to think about this when you are practicing. Be mindful of this. If you're struggling to get a good sound out of a chord, is it your finger placement? Right, okay. Right, that one, 3 out of 10. This one, 5 out of 10. If I try to do literal, this is what happens with literal. Your hand starts to go in this awkward thing like this, and then what happens is you end up like this. Yeah, that's not good. You need a straight wrist if you can. Maybe a little bit of wrist. Gentle curvature on the wrist is good. Yeah, but fingers 2 and 1 there. Look, so if I take my 3rd finger off there, yeah, then you can see that that's in the 5 out of 10. This is in the 3 out of 10. This one is in the 5 out of 10. Why? Because I want to reserve space for my pinky, because I don't want to make micro adjustments as I'm changing chords. Listen, so look, if I had that up there, watch what has to happen if I want to make play a D sus4. Pull it back, and I have to put that on there. That's extra movement. Yes. Thumb placement. Yes, thumb placement is a good topic. Right. Well, I've got stumpy thumb. Yeah, it's a stumpy thumb. So thumb is, if you've got a big long thumb, I'm jealous. Now, if I was to play something like a D sus4, yes, a D over F sharp, there's a D. I can take this note here, this F sharp that's here, and I could chuck it over onto the thick string. And what I could do is I can grab that with my thumb. Right, okay. When you do that, when I'm folding that round, I'm getting into the 3 out of 10 spot. Okay? So we do that there if I wanted to do that. So that's what I've got to facilitate. But sometimes chords need the thumb at the back. Now, for me, generally, rule of thumb is 12 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock. If you're at 9 o'clock, no, you're shoveling. That's what I call. Look what, if you put your thumb in the middle there like that, what happens is the flat of your palm of your hand ends up sticking to the bottom of the neck. You need a cavity. Can you see there's a space there? So you need that space there. Just going back to the A chord again. Look, so that one there, if I tried to play that with literally as the chord diagrams show in the book, I can't do it. If I switch my fingers, I might be able to do it. But, do you know, from years and years of teaching, over 30 years of teaching, adults, and I will say this, especially men, yeah, who work in engineering or mechanicking or something like that, where your hands get a lot of abuse, there's a thickening and girthing of the fingers. You end up with fatter fingers. It's for some reason, I don't know what it is, but I think call it engineer's fingers. So they end up fatter. There's no chance of doing this. So this is why, yeah, that's fair game. Yeah, using that there. But even when I'm playing that one there, can you see the angle of it? Yeah, it's starting at 3, and then these two are at 5 and 5. Okay? Okay, so that is going to help you. But you can't just go like that. I can feel my arm tucking in here awkwardly, and it's not good. Yeah, so we want to make sure that we're really relaxed with this. Yes, Greg, you're wondering why I've drawn over my hands. You've missed it. You'll have to watch again on the replay. So this is this thing here, literal placement, and this is what this does. Now, somebody mentioned a D chord. Yeah, and this is the thing that I call. This is going to be in the course as well. This is called lift, shift, plant. This 2-finger group here. What you do is you lift the 2-finger group up, and you shift slightly, and then you plant those 2 fingers on. It works better if I go from an A. Look at this. This is called what I call a sliding anchor. Right. So lift. Shift, this finger doesn't leave the string, yeah, and then plant those 2 fingers, and these 2 fingers want to work together because they are a 2-finger group. They want to do that ligament thing just there, yeah. So this is all of those things about clockwork chords. It's not a drunk tattoo. Yes. Okay, so watch this. So this, changing from an E to an A, look, it goes like this. It goes E, lift, shift, plant. Lift, shift, plant. The way I thought about it, a little bit of a nugget of Ricky information. When I was about 12 or something, my 2 sisters decided they wanted to go to Latin and ballroom dancing, and I had to go and chaperone them. And in the process, I somehow learned how to do Latin and ballroom dancing. Great for rhythm. Yeah, really good. Highly recommend it for the rhythm side of things. But the way that they explained the dancing was very much like those mats. I remember seeing those mats. There's like, you roll them up and then you can roll them out. You roll the mat out and it's numbered. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And those are your steps. If you do those steps in that order, you get the rumba. You do the steps in that order, you dance in the foxtrot. So this is the way I think of it when it comes to changing chords. So we do this thing. We have to have correct position of the hands, just like you do with dancing. You've got to have good form. You want to get that 10 out of 10 thing, like on Strictly. Yeah, so we want to have that same thing here. We want to do this with the guitar chords. So this is why I prefer this shape here. Not only does it do this thing where we can go A major, really efficiently shift that then to get A major 7 and A7, okay? That's useful, but it also means we can facilitate lift, shift, plant. Okay, so look, lift, shift, plant, back on. And I do the same to go back to the A. Lift, shift, plant. Now when I shift, I put that there. Now, one of my things is say it as you play it. Yeah, so say it as you play it. So if you've got that there, lift, shift, plant, lift, shift, plant. It's like one of those things. If I said to you to point up and point down, there's a cognitive dissonance and you can't do it. You go, you know, it's one of those things. So we've got to get this going here. Yeah, lift, shift, plant, look. And then the shift is sometimes small. So if I could take lift, shift, plant. But the thing is, this finger, like I said, is on the 5 out of 10 spot. But because I've reserved some some space for my pinky. Now, the reason I want to do that is because changing chords, say from a D to a G, for example, if I was to change chords from a D to a G, the action would be pinky on, reach over with fingers 1 and 2. Can you see that G is there? And going back to a D, you see the pinky, because it helps us with this transition from one chord to the next. So we've got the D, pinky on, lift those 2 fingers off and go in slow motion. There's something that you don't realise, guys, that is really cool. We can bend time with our minds. Now, this is a really weird thing. So if I do this in slow motion, then you can see how it works. Yeah? So what I end up doing is, the way I think of it as well is when we put a D chord on, we can think of it like in steps in a process to get a result. Yeah, and the result we want is a D chord. So we've got finger 1, finger 2, finger 3. 3-step process. What we can do is we can skinny that process down. We go finger 1 and put fingers 2 and 3 on at the same time. Okay, when it comes to changing to the G, pinky on, reach over. Now, this is counterintuitive. This is counterintuitive because this finger is the bully finger. This one. Yeah, it's the bully. Okay? Yeah, we always leave space for a cheeky pinky. Yeah, crikey. Sounds X-rated. So here we go. We've got this one here. Look, and you see how that reaches over. So what we want to do is we want to put these 2 on at the same time. Look at that. Just practice doing that. And I would say, okay, watch. We go here, put that one on there. Now this is a silly little exercise, but sometimes when you are doing big movements, yeah, it's the little movements that are part of the transitions that are that are slowing you down. So if I do this like this, there's the D. I just put the D chord on, pinky, yeah. So that might be the big bit that I need to focus on, yeah. So I'm going like that. And then I'm going to go to the A. I'm going to go lift, shift back a bit to make enough space, plant. So I'm back on there. Now, when it comes to this A chord, what I'm going to do, let me just go a little bit more out that way. Just will that focus there. There, that's better. Watch this. Silly. It's a silly exercise. Just getting those fingers used to doing that. We're training the muscle memory. Look at that. Just that. Right? And then if I wanted to change that and take that back to an E chord, lift, shift, plant. I could even do it there. Yeah? Now this becomes critical later on when it comes to strumming. Okay? Now is that, Tom, is that because I draw on my hands? Yes. Okay, so there we go. So there's there's the thing, and that's the way you got to think about it. So when I draw my diagrams, and you'll notice this in the book, guys, you'll notice this. You'll wonder, why has he done it like that? I put literal finger placement there. Look, so it's like this. Watch. Look at that. Yeah, I'm going to put that there. And I put this here. And I'm going to show you your dance moves. Yeah, like I said, that mat that you put foot 1, foot 2 and twist and do this. Here's the order your fingers go on. Finger 1, finger 2, finger 3. But you remember how this 2-finger group wants to work as one finger. Yeah, what I do is I put a little bracket above there. Can you see? Those two are acting as one finger. Fingers 2 and 3. So this way here, it just makes everything a lot easier. Yeah, you practice it slowly. You do it slowly with absolute observation, because that's the critical bit, is really observing what you are doing. Because if you kind of there is an argument to be said for just plain patterns and scales while you're just watching the TV, you know, just keeping your fingers going and more of a stamina sort of thing. But yes, I will say that you know, when you are learning something new, then you definitely need to look at it. Here's one of the things that people do. Right, okay, I'm learning this thing. Right, I've never really done it before. So what I'm going to do is, I've done it a couple of times. I think I know what it is, but you know what? I'm going to look at the ceiling, look at something else. Yeah, and not look at my hand. I'm not looking at my hand. Yeah. You need that information. Remember, there's actually, I think of it as 4 ways. Yeah, but the 3 sensory inputs are, there is visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. Yeah, so what it looks like, what it sounds like, and what it feels like. Those are the ways we understand this, guys. So when I put my fingers on, yeah, I'm looking at looking at it. I'm getting feedback. I'm seeing where it is. And I'm going, oh, is it in the 3 out of 10, 5 out of 10? I've got somewhere to do it. I know, now I've told you about 3 out of 10, 5 out of 10, 8 out of 10. You know where your fingers should go. So how to organise them. And these are your fingers, so it might be that you organise it differently. You know, it could be. You know, so we put that there, we put that there, we put that there. Okay? Do this for each finger set. So, okay? Right. Stretch your tension out, Mike. Yeah, you could do this. There's all sorts of things. Yeah, I've got some little things. I've got this. This is a squeezy. This is a squeezy lemon. I use this one. This is a nice one for keeping warmed up with. These are good for contracting inwards. I also, if you want to, if you're in the office, I've shown this to students before, and they like this one. Elastic bands, yeah. All right. Just put them around your fingers like that. You don't need those expensive, like torture-y device-looking things. I'd say that's the perfect combo. That's the outward movement. Yeah. So that's good. And then squeeze in. So that's a squeezing in. And that'll give your hand a good workout. But sometimes if I'm having a long practice session and I'm making a cup of tea or something like that, I'm just going out and having a look in the garden, seeing what my flowers are doing or what the birds are up to, then what I'll do is I'll just give this, I'll take this with me and I'll just give it a squeeze just to keep my hands warm, so that when I come back upstairs to do a practice, then it's like I haven't lost any of that warmth in my hand, that momentum. I've still got the muscles working. And I have noticed as I've got older, it does get a little bit slower in the hands. So you have to work at it. You have to work at it, guys. You have to keep them going. And this is the thing. This is the reason why I think a lot of people play guitar. Keep the body, the fingers moving. Keep the brain moving as well. Keep the brain going. It's all about keeping the brain going. Get your tendon stretch separately. Use your knees. Yeah, there are other exercises as well. You know, and I do these. I mentioned this to a friend. We were talking about this years ago, and I'd heard. You see this bit, this drawing business here that I did here, right here. I'd read about some classical pianists who had this ligament cut, these ligaments here cut, so that they could open their hands wider, to disastrous results. So there's how far do you take it? How far do you take it indeed? So just to kind of get that across to you there. Now somebody mentioned somebody mentioned going from a C to a D, and I haven't forgot about inverting intervals pitch as well. So someone mentioned going from Carter said, what about going from G to C and back? This is a notoriously tricky move, and actually that's where we started with the C. So we've got this here. So we've got the C here. Okay, we've got the C. Look at my first finger now. You're going to notice how this works. You can see that my first finger is on the 3 out of 10 spot. Now this second finger, right, because there isn't anything else really around it. Yeah, then what I can do is I can get that in the 3 out of 10 spot as well. But what I also do, and I don't know if the autofocus is working. It's on manual focus. I've switched the focus or something. There we go. Right. What you can see is, you see the tip of my second finger is touching the A string, because when I put the third finger on, it doesn't matter, because everything behind this finger is dead. Yeah, so that's okay. That's permissible. And look at the third finger. Can you see it's touching? It's just touching that E string. Okay. Okay. Do you see what's going on there? And that's okay for that to touch on there. Now the beautiful thing about that is that it mutes that string for me when I play the C chord. Yeah. So when I play that C now, I can strum through from the E string. I'm strumming the thick E string on that. But the sound of the string isn't as loud as the other strings. Yeah? And it can give you quite a percussive effect. Yeah? I do like to strum just from the root note. But if I'm going for it, can you see that E string? It's moving. Okay, so just to recap on that, when you set up this, when you're playing the C and you want to set the C chord up, first finger 3 out of 10, second finger 3 out of 10, and touching the A string. Yeah, just touching it. By doing that, what happens is it leaves enough space for the G string to clear. Same with the third finger here. That one, you can see it's almost going in between the strings there. I can feel the fretboard underneath. Yeah. Now you can play a C like this. Okay. You can play a C like this. I did a little quick video with some variations on the C chord. And that is how you can play it. Now, Matt, as funny as it sounds that you're saying that, C add 9. C add 9 is just a C with some extra colour. Right? It does colour the chord. There's no way around it. If you play a C like this, it's stable. It's a major chord. There's none more major, okay? So that's a real major sound, okay? Hey up, Marcel. Okay, so we've got that there. Now, if we put that pinky on there, and this is a good exercise anyhow. Yeah, look at this. That's a C. That's just a standard C. And sometimes what can be good is if you put that on as well, it can make your hand feel more stable on the fretboard, because if you think about it, these are like legs on a kind of a table, if you will. And if you've got 3 legs on your table, then it's not as good as having 4 legs on your table. Okay? Yes, true. Yeah, C over G. C/G. So you can put that on there, but you might not want that bright sound there, because what it's doing is it's getting rid of this E string, which is a third. Okay? Yeah, and there's a third there already, and what happens is that third and that third, they rub within the chord. They kind of rub against each other. It's all right, but this, when you change that third into a fifth, which is what this pinky does, you can hear it rounds the sound off. There's no rub. Listen. I always find that third rub makes the chord sound a bit dull. Okay? But that's bright now. So a nice bright major sound, yeah? So, okay, the thing with this pinky that we can do is, if we want to, we can just play around with the pinky movement here. Put it there and you get a C add 9. Yeah. But you can play a C add 9 like this, or like this, but let's just do it from this C shape here. C add 9. There, okay? Moving the pinky up again. Look there, C7. Okay, then put this on here. If I leave off this E thin E string, if I leave off the thin E string, I'm only playing the inside 4 strings. This is a C sus 4. Yeah? Can you hear that? Lovely sound as a sus 4. Yeah. That C7 effect, that's from a different key. So we've got to be careful with the C7. Okay. So we've got this. I'm just going down the rabbit warren here, guys. I'm just free flowing with it. I've gone off the realms of the book. This is something else completely, but while I'm on it, let's do it. Now, I want you to think about this. Every chord, this is what I was thinking about with that C7 there. That is chord 5 in the key of F, right? But the C, any chord, any major or minor chord, can be in 3 keys. The 2 keys that we guitarists play in the most are the keys of C and the keys of G, yeah? C major, here's the chords. I put this video up with that as well. This was the reason. C, D minor, E minor, F, G, A minor, B diminished. I'm going to play as a diminished 7th chord. Back to C. I played the wrong one there. There it is, B diminished. C there, yes sir. Okay, play through that again. I'll play full chords. Yeah. That's the key of C. Key of G goes G, A minor, B minor, C's in there, C, D, E minor, F sharp diminished, G. Okay, so we can see how that's going on there. Key of F. We've got the chord 1, F. Let's just move over to this. This is the way I like to play this. There's your G major. If that's the 3rd, if we flatten it 1, that becomes really hard. We don't want to do that. So we mute the A string. And then what I do is, to get that minor 3rd, I find it here. Look, I just chuck it up an octave. Put it up there. And that means that I will go, no, sorry, that's not the 3rd. What am I on about, Rich? It's there. Yeah, okay, so there's my G minor. I can play that there. I could even put it like that. Could do, but I'm not a fan of that. I'd rather have it that way. Do that. Maybe roll my fingers over a bit there. So there's my G minor. So I've got an F, G minor, then we go A minor, yeah, and then what we do is we go B flat. Hang on, we're into more bar chords here. So that's the problem. Yeah, we start getting into more bar chords, but B flat chord, there's the C again. So the C, yeah, it can be chord 1 in the key of C. It can be chord 4 in the key of G, and it can be chord 5 in the key of F. Okay, does that make sense? Yeah, because it can be in 3 keys. So that's what we've got to think about. Now, those keys there that I told you, those are the easiest keys that, like I say, that we can play in. But C and G specifically, like I showed you, F, bar chord. Yeah, G minor. Got to think about it, or it might be that. Yeah, and we've got a B flat, and we've got, so it's tricky. If you're a beginner, it's tricky. So we want to think about chords in the key of C, chords in the key of G. Right, okay. So, C, there's lots of different ways to play this chord. So that one belongs, it sounds a bit more melodic than the bar chord. Well, it's an open chord there, Dr. Adams, and that's the thing. Yeah, open strings add a quality. When you play a C like that, it's bright and ringing. You can hear the quality of it versus, it sounds more closed. This sounds more open. It's got room to breathe. Okay, Marcel, thank you very much, mate. So, where was I going with this? C to G. Excuse me. So there's a few ways to play the C. We have a few different ways to play the C. What you can do is you can do the super cheat, which I absolutely love, and that is we can play the G like this. Remember, I've just showed you how we did this, going from the D. This is in the book, actually. Pinky on there, G, and then look, see these 2 fingers? Keep it as a 2-finger group, move it down 1 string. Now we get a C add 9. Yeah? It's a little bit out of that. Okay? Does that make sense? So you can see that there, I'll play that there. Can even go down there. That's a kind of a funky F. Yeah? We could do lots of different cool things with that. Oh, can I play this? Yeah? Best not do. Just had a friend had a video removed from his channel. So I'm not going to even mention the name of the song that I was thinking there. Okay? So that's a way to change from C to G. Easy. Look at that. Right? But the traditional way is to go like this. C. Okay? There's the C. That's the C that we started off with. Yeah, that I was talking about. Now what we do is, this is part of my thinking as well. And I want you to be kind of think about if you observe this in your own practice. When I forgot what I was going to say. Right, I forgot what I was going to say, but regardless, I'll carry on with what I was going to say. It was about observation. It was about making observations, and one of the things that you might do is, when you observe, is where you are transitioning between chords. So look at this one here, right? What I'm going to do is, this one here is what I call a pivot. It's a pivot finger. If I want to change to the G, yeah, it's no good if you are one of this kind of, if you play a G like this, and look, like I said, this is the bully finger. This is the way most people play it. They go finger 1, finger 2, finger 3, like that. But I play it differently. I come up from underneath, and then I put that over the top. Yeah, so under there and over. Like I say, it's more of a less conventional way of putting these chords on. But the reason it works is because, like I say, this course that I've got, that's called clockwork chords. Look how this works. If I want to change to a G, then what I can do is I can slow the process down. Watch this. Yeah, and I'll show you the transition from C to G. Yeah, so there's the G. What I do is I lift that 2-finger group up. Can you see those 2 fingers acting as 1 finger? This is an anchor. That's staying where it is. That's the anchor. This finger is the scout. We have a scout finger. So the scout lands here on this first fret of the C chord. That's the first note of the C chord. When that finger lands, the scout releases the anchor. That's the rule. Yeah, so that's just what you've got to say to yourself. The scout releases the anchor. So as soon as the scout releases the anchor, then what happens is it frees the rest of my hand up. So I don't end up with this tight, scrunched up feeling in my fingers that everything's glued on, right? So look, so I'll go from here, G, first finger goes on there. Look at that. That's free now, and I roll out a C chord. So the thing is, changing from a C to a G becomes really easy because I'm scouting here. So there's my scout. Roll those 3 fingers out roll those other 2 fingers out for the C. When I want to change to the G, pivot, and this is the transition. Let me show you the transition. There. That's how you change. That's in between the chords. That's the bottleneck. Okay. There. That's it. There. Pivot on that there. Now the reason, I remembered what it was I was going to say. I was going to say that there's a feeling, and this is me going back to being a beginner. Right at the beginning, I always remember the things I went through as a beginner. Because I struggled to learn guitar at the beginning. It was just perseverance and just nicking as much information as I could from other guitar players, you know, and licks and everything else like that. But what it was I realised that the old kind of school way of playing chords, what it does is this, yeah? You have to take your hands off and you have free space. You're in a void. There's this kind of like limbo zone in between. They're a drunk tattoo. They're in between. Yeah. So when it comes to putting the chord on, then you have no kinesthetic reference. This is how it feels. Remember I was saying to you, what it looks like, what it sounds like, how it feels are really important. Yeah. Okay. So how it feels, it gives you a lot of information. How it feels confirms the visual experience that you are having when you are practicing and learning. So if we go like this, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'm going to change from a C to a G, the traditional way, I would take my fingers off, grab air, and then I would try and put the chord on. But what happens is, people do this, they take that off, they get the wrong chord. The fingers go on the wrong strings. Now, if you can have these anchor points and these pivot points then what they do is they help you to go from one chord to the next really, really smoothly. This is why I call it the clockwork chord system, because a clockwork mechanism never changes. I almost liken this to climbing up the side of a mountain. If you're climbing up the side of a mountain, would you do it without a rope if you were a beginner? There's no way in hell, yeah, you are climbing up without a rope. Yeah, so what you need to do is you need to have this anchor point. You know when they're climbing up and they hammer those things in. I don't know what they call them. They're in the crevices, and then they stick the rope through, and they know if they fall, they've still got a point of reference on the surface of that mountain. Hopefully that makes sense there, guys, you know. So that's what I'm thinking there. Okay, so we've got that there. Now I've got this. This is that little clip on the side of the mountain. Switcheroo, right? Scout releases the anchor. Watch. That's the anchor. These 2 fingers are acting as a scout. Look, it's a scout. There. So you see it release that anchor. Going back to the chord. That's for the C. Scout and anchor. Crampons. That's the one. There. That is the difference. That's how you change from a C to a G. Yeah? Hope, Peg. Hope it doesn't break. Look at that. Practice how you pivot round on that. There's probably lots of different names for it. I don't know what they're called. Yeah? Look at that. You see? There's the movement. Pulling down. Thank you for your service, Dr. Adams. Okay, so that G minor over B change. I played a G minor like this. Oh, crampons attached to your boots. Yeah? No, once you learn Dr. Adams, you know, once you learn them, you won't need the anchor. No, well, you kind of just do it instinctively, because what happens is you habitualize the process. This is what guitar essentially is. It's about habitualizing the process of how you visualize, how you hear things, and how you feel them. Yeah. So this is, you just got to repeat it to defeat it. Okay? Say it as you play it, repeat it to defeat it. Okay. Right. That was, I think that answered the question. But somebody said an easy C. An easy C. So look, that was the C. Okay. There's nothing to say that I like to play this. This is just a C sus2. Yeah? I don't even have to play it as a C sus2. I can play it as a C5 there. Just those there. Just moving that there. So, yeah, repeat it to defeat it. Okay, yeah, see it within your head. Dr. Adams, you know, the thing is, the reason I know all this stuff is from NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, and the way I do this is you can actually create a little movie in your mind. You know, right. Okay. So anyhow, let's move on, guys. Let's have a sip of this. So hopefully, you'd have to put your read on to see the fretboard much better. Well, you know, Todd, you might have to put the old goggles on. You know, unfortunately, I mean, these ones, these are for computer reading. Yeah, these are for computer reading, and they make my eyes look about 5 times bigger. So, you know, it's one of those things, just what we have to put up with. So we've got that there. Right. Now, going all the way back to lesson. And here comes Michael. Hey up. Okay. So, what we can do is we can go back to this one here. We were looking at this. This is what we were going to look at. Yeah. Somebody mentioned this, but I went off on a tangent talking about chords and that sort of stuff. And we were on about this inverting intervals thing. It's pretty simple, really, and why we might need this. Okay. So, let's have a look at it. Right, the rules are, and I'll explain this. And the reason it's important is because, and I can show you why this would be important, because it helps you you can decode things on the fretboard as well. So inverting intervals. Let's do it. Can I do this quick? Can I do this one quick? Right. Let's have a look. Turn the guitar off. Inverting intervals. Okay. Inverting intervals. Right. So what we've got is the rules. Rule 1 is, right, major, that means vice versa. Yeah, major becomes minor, minor becomes major. Number 2, everything adds to 9. Yeah, remember that Jimi Hendrix song, 3, 6, and 9? That's something to do with Tesla, right? Perfect stays perfect. Okay. 4 is sharp switches and is vice versa. It's interchangeable with flat. Okay. So inverting these intervals here, guys. Right, let's get some things. And I'm just going to write these intervals down chromatically. So what we get is we get minor. We get a minor second. Right, now, whenever we have a minor and we have a major, think of major and minor as Mr. and Mrs. We get a major second as well. So you can hopefully see those two there are a pair. Okay, does that make sense? So we've got minor and we've got major. Okay. Next, after 2, what number do we get after 2? Well, we get minor third, and then we get major third. Because wherever there's a major, there's a minor. Okay. Next, we get perfect fourth. Okay. Perfect fourth. That's the way to look at it. And I'm going to put this one in here. This is how I've done it in the book. In between the perfect fourth, if we raise a perfect fourth, a semitone, or a half step, we get a sharp 4. The other side of the perfect fourth, we get a perfect fifth. This gives me this lovely little kind of sandwich there. Perfect interval, really very consonant. Perfect interval, very consonant. The sharp 4 is very dissonant. So you imagine this. That's a slice of bread. This is a slice of bread, and that's a slice of lemon. It's a lemon sandwich. Is there a minor second, a flat second? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It applies the same way. So we can have that there. Right, so after a 5, what do we get? We get a 6, and we're going to get a minor 6. Because we've got a minor, we get a major 6. So that's a pair. We get a minor 7. That means there's a major to go with it. So we get a major 7 there. Yes. Not necessarily flat. Flat doesn't always mean minor. Yeah. So, right. Okay, let's look at this here. So I've got to put these in here now. So we need to invert these. And the way we invert them, we're going to use our rules. Yeah. So I'm just going to draw this here. Probably see if we can make it pretty easy. Oh, it's easier if I draw the line first instead of trying to do it that way. Right. Okay. Okay, I'm going to show you, Ron. Right, so remember, minor, if we want to invert this minor interval, right, well, what we do is we look at it, we go, well, minor becomes major. So if we flip it, you can see that we get major. Everything adds to 9. So if we have 9 and we subtract 2, that means we're left with 7. Yeah, so 2 and 7 equals 9. Hopefully that makes sense. Now, you might already be thinking to yourself, hang on, if that's majors, does that mean there's a minor? Yes, there is. You could think that as well, which would be good thinking. But let's do the rule thing. Let's follow the rules. Major second, inverted, becomes a minor. Major becomes minor, and minor becomes major. Still second, so it's going to give us a 7th. So this is useful for how we want to think about this. Okay, minor third. Right, so minor is going to become major. Third, well, what's the 3 from 9 going to be? It's going to leave us with 6. So that's going to give us a 6. And you start to see a pattern coming down here. Just like there's a pattern coming down here, the pattern is reversed. Okay, so look at that. Major 6 there. Now we're going to have major becomes minor and it's still a 6. So there you go. Now, perfect. Remember, perfect stays perfect. But we have 9. Everything adds to 9. So that is a 4. So that means we get a perfect 5th. This is why it's useful to understand this from your power chords. And I'll show you that in a minute. Flat becomes sharp and sharp becomes flat. So that's going to be that. Everything adds to 9. Let's put it in there. They're going to be the same. Okay, perfect 5th. Well, now we've really just hit this bit now where it's just flipping on itself. And hopefully you can start to see that really once you get from the top to here, you've got all the information that you need. But just to work through it, just so that you know, minor becomes major. 6, what we're going to do to make that up to 9, we need a 3. Okay, major 6, let's turn that into a minor. And then we're going to add that 3 to make it add to 9. Minor 7, okay, we've got to turn that into a major. And then what we're going to do is we need 2. And then we're going to turn that major into a minor. And we get a 2 as well. Yeah, and just to kind of make sure that you get that, yeah, minor second. I'll just go through some notes here just so that you can see. This is useful for your scales, yeah? So second, yeah, that's a major second, yeah? So that's going to be a major second. Flat second is going to be a minor second, yeah? Right? If this was a compound note, if this was compound, it would be a flat 9, yeah? There's a way we've got to think about how all this stuff works. Okay. So, second, let's have a look. Flat third, minor third. Okay. What else have we got? Perfect fourth. We've got there. Minor 6. Flat 6 equals minor 6. Flat 7 equals minor 7. So I see what you said there about it being a synonym, but it isn't in this respect. Yeah, it's just applying to these intervals here. Okay, now how is this going to be useful? Well, let's look at this. Right, if I draw, I'll show you a couple of uses for this, and it's really good. It's really good. Let's keep it chill, guys. Let's keep it really chill. Okay. What we can do is, if we take a power chord, let's look at this. Let's call this a G. Okay. This is a G. And this is going to be a D here. This is giving us, essentially, what we've got is we've got a power chord there. Okay. That is a power chord. The distance between that one to that one is a perfect 5th. But look at this. That's a G. If I take it up an octave, you can see it goes next door to that there, look. And the distance between that is a perfect 4th, because what it is it's just inverted over. You can see that some chords do this. Let me just switch to guitar for a minute. Okay, so you can see how this perfect 4th thing works there. Look, there's the G power chord. Now I can add that there, and it looks like I'm just adding a lot more root note, another root note there. But what we can do is we can get rid of that one now, because we've still got the root note, but we end up playing this shape. And here's a little thing. I think this is, I want to say Lightning Hopkins. I might be wrong, right? But the thing is, if you struggle with that business, yeah, and you want to take it here, then what you can do is you can play this note and this note. You can arch that third finger over. You can even put that flat 7 on there. Now that's an interesting way to play that, because you've got your power chord there. So that, That, same thing. Okay? Does that make sense? So, what you can think to yourself is, I think this is a C chord. Yeah, that there. It's a C power chord. Yeah. This is going to be B power chord. Right, with some filth on that. But the fourth sounds a little bit more less stable than the fifth. Because what you're hearing is the distance between those two intervals. Yeah? But if you think to yourself, okay, that's a C. There's a G. Yeah? Now, another thing that is good is, if I look at this, I'm going to take this G chord here with my drunk tattoo fingers and I'm going to play the root note and I'm going to split it to the third here. So look. So there's the root and there's the compound third. If you've seen the videos that I've done on the compound chords, these are lovely chords. Now, you want something to go around for that. Okay, so we've got that there. So these are great. But what we can do is we can, by inverting it, we can invert that interval by chucking that note over there. Just onto the same note. That's a G there. This is a G here. Let's put it over here. And now what happens is we get a sixth. Look at this. This one is a major third. If we chuck it over that way, we know we're going to get the opposite of that, the inverted value. Guys, please. I don't want to have to bring down the band hammer. Please, guys. Yeah. So, like I said here, major third becomes a minor sixth. And this is a useful way to understand this. So we can do that there. Look, so major third, invert it, minor sixth. Okay. Got that there. Now if I turn it into a minor, can you guess what's going to happen? There's a minor third. Okay, compound minor third. Chuck that note over there. Yeah. I get major sixth. Yeah. Which is good, which is beautiful, you know. You need it for all your blues turnarounds. You need to understand how that works there for that. Put that chord on there. Okay. So, I think what we need to do, I think we need to call this session, call this a day. And I think what I'm going to say is, guys, there's all what we've done with the chords. There's this sheet here. I'll put this up in the fretboard fraternity. If that's useful. Although I think you can get to this stuff anyhow. But I will scan it and I'll put it up in the fretboard fraternity. I will say, guys, can we if we can be civil a bit more, then that would be fantastic. Thank you. If you can't, my mum always used to say, God bless her, if you can't say out nice, don't say anything at all. So, and I think that's probably a time for this. And I also think if we're going to be in the community and we're going to be in here to get together, then least said, soonest mended. Okay, so, okay, time to call it a day. Oh, and here is Phil himself. I was talking about you earlier on, Phil. I was just telling everybody how, how Phil, hang on, over in the community, look who's at top of the leaderboard. for the 30-day leaderboard. Hang on, let's have a look on all leaderboards. Who's at the top for the 7-day leaderboard? It's Phil. Who's at the top of the 30-day leaderboard? It's Phil. Who's at the top of the all-time leaderboard? It's Phil. Dems catching up with you there. Thunder Ace, thank you very much. Thank you, buddy. Thanks for coming along, guys. Thank you for rocking up today. R Diamond. Sounds like my mum was from Elgin. She was from Elgin. So the new book is coming out soon. It's coming out soon. Yeah, so that's somewhere. Phil, well done. It will be but that will be the Kickstart guitar, beginner's guitar book. There are some others coming out as well. So thank you, Chris. I'm gonna sign off now. I'm gonna say goodbye and be kind to each other. Look after yourself and look after each other. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.